All right, so coming off of talking about histograms, another chart type, and again, in just kind of the vernacular, if you will, um, is what the R libraries refer to as a box plot. Okay, so let me just run this in its native form and show you what I'm talking about here. So box plot, you might notice that this is looking an awful lot like the um, box and whisker plot that we made in earlier units. Okay, so one thing that we can do is we can add additional elements to this. So I'm going to do MPG, do MT cars, do cylinder, and I'm going to do MT cars. And I'm going to do displacement. All right, so now you've got a few different options in there. Again, the way this is spanning doesn't look so well. So I got my choice of how I want to proceed with this. So let's do this. I'm going to copy this, and let's work with one here. So let's go back to just plotting one. So let's get a little more practice here with expanding on some of those parameters that we see. Okay, so again, remember our main parameter still holds true, and we're going to call this box and whisker plot of MPG. Okay. And let's label our y-axis. Label that MPG. And when I'm doing bigger, or I consume multiple lines of code for one given chart, one thing I like to do is I like to run that periodically. Again, a couple of reasons. It's just my kind of OCD nature, but also, again, R does not give sometimes the best intuitive error messages if something goes wrong. So again, for me, I'll do a line or two, run it, see what I get, okay, and then just kind of keep expanding on that. All right. The other parameter is, you notice on my MPG, I've got plenty of real estate here. So on my y-axis, I'm not a fan of those labels. Okay. So here I'm going to call label style parameter to 2. Okay. And if you remember those different settings, you'll notice that it flips those so that they're oriented horizontally, which I prefer here. Okay. All right, maybe one other parameter I want to look at is you'll notice that, again, R kind of trying to use its own internal logic structure to say, well, I'm going to start my y-axis at 10, which maybe I don't care for. So I'm going to say y-lim equals C, and I'm going to go 0, and looks like if I span that to 35, I'm going to be okay there. So I'll need a second bracket closed there. Okay, so again, shifts the shape of my chart a little bit, and I can kind of make those decisions if that's how I wanted it or not. Okay.